What's up, my dude? So I'm doing something pretty different in this video right here. I just wanted to show off this game that's going to be coming out. It's called Dual Universe. Some of you guys may know it. It's kind of one of those indie title type games that is going to be crowdfunded, and I know that's like, oh my god, everybody's scared to do that now, but there was something that just intrigued me about Dual Universe. I don't know what it exactly was, but there's been if you guys don't know, that's kind of been a bit of a trend now after No Man's Sky came out, was there's all these space exploration, go to all these different planets kind of games and stuff, but the cool thing about Dual Universe is it's kind of like they perfectly mixed Minecraft with No Man's Sky. I felt like No Man's Sky was always missing that building element. It was always missing that, like, actual, build your own stuff and things to do in the game, and that whole side of it was just kind of not there with No Man's Sky. So the cool thing about Dual Universe, and I've actually kind of, done my research here and learned a lot about the game. I've watched some different YouTube videos and stuff on it where the developers have really went deep and talked about it. I'm going to go to some of the little pictures here so you guys can see just some different stuff. So what it is it's basically this single shard universe, so everybody's going to be in the same universe. It's a massively online multiplayer game, and it's not going to be like No Man's Sky where they say there's going to be multiplayer and then there's not. It's actually going to be in the game, okay? I promise you, bro. But because that's like the main core to it. That's the big thing they're trying to push in the game, is just making it to where there's all these different planets, and you got, like, you could have 300 people just standing in one area on a planet. You don't really have different servers. It's one main server that they're going to have. That's what single shard means. I didn't really know what it meant, but that's kind of what it means. So it's like everybody's in one single world, and that's kind of the whole point to the game. And what you do is you can build anything. So it's kind of like your standard, Minecraft 7 Days to Die. You can get really technical. You can build any sort of spaceship you want, and you can kind of put the cockpit wherever you want it. There's like these pre-baked sort of objects that you can then go in and build anything you want around it with small blocks, big blocks, anything. You can basically build anything you want to do. It's like you just added Legos into No Man's Sky is pretty much what Dual Universe is. And they're pushing this big, like, this just massively online where you've got all these different sort of guilds and communities, and they want you to actually start building, like, cities and have all this. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. I've always wanted a game like this. So it's very different from No Man's Sky, but it's kind of got some of the same elements. Now, something that's different about this game than a lot of other games that I haven't really seen so much into this game yet is like creatures or anything along those lines. That's something I've not seen anything on yet. With Dual Universe, I've not seen a creature one in this game yet, so there may not even be that aspect in the game. I'm not sure. They may be focusing all of their attention on building. As you can see, I mean, it's like you can build the smallest little blocks. It's very, very technical with what you can actually build in the game. You can pretty much build anything you want to build. And I mean, you can see you got people everywhere building all kinds of buildings, and so you're basically like building your buildings, you're building your spaceships however you want to build them, and you can actually build space stations out in space as well, and you can seamlessly fly from planet to planet, similar to No Man's Sky. And I'm not really sure how many planets they're going to have, but with Dual Universe, the planets seem to have much more of a real sense of scale to me. That was another cool thing I kind of noticed at first. Like, I don't know if that's the way, obviously I haven't played the game yet, but I don't know if that's how it's going to feel in the game. But like with No Man's Sky, it had sort of I mean, of course the planets were huge in No Man's Sky, but they just didn't feel that big for some reason. I don't know if it was because when you were flying in your ship, you couldn't actually, like, crash land on the ground, and you couldn't really see anything on the ground so much. And it was just a very bizarre experience with the way that they had made No Man's Sky as far as all that goes. But I'm not really sure how the planet diversity is going to be. This game is still somewhat early, so there's not a whole lot out there on it. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know because I thought it was pretty sick, just the design around it and stuff. I mean, I've seen a lot of different types of these games trying to come out here lately, and this was just a cool one that it had all the core elements I wanted in a game like this. It has the building, it has the and not just building in the sense of like, the game called The Forest and Stranded Deep. You're not building a lot of these pre-baked things. You're even though there are pre-baked type things in there, like, cockpits for planes and engines for planes, you can still build around that and build it any way you want to build it. And it's the same way with the structures. I mean, you can get however deep into it you want to. And there's actually like full scripting systems with the different vehicles. And you can script it however you want to do it and make all these different UI bots and stuff and kind of like tower defense things, and it's massively online multiplayer, so you're gonna have PvP. There's like these territory type things that you can place on the ground, and then you can assign like all these different other players to allow them to do certain things, and there's a lot more to this game than just building stuff and then going to different planets. There's an actual core to it. It's kind of like, in real life, if we just started flying to other planets and trying to make civilizations and then having enemies and friends and building cities. And I just love that thought. I love that core to a game. I don't know why. I thought it was always fascinating because even in Minecraft, I thought it would have been cool, to build a city, but then there's all these restrictions. You can only have so many players, and Minecraft is so silly with the way the actual combat is. It's not really competitive. So I hope that this game has a bit of a competitive combat system. I'm not really sure how all that's going to be. I hope it is somewhat strategic and somewhat, actually fascinating, more so than just point, shoot, kill, point, shoot, kill. I hope there's a little bit more to it, and there's going to be a full economy that all of the players actually build. They'll be making their different shops and all this kind of stuff that real players can go to. So it's basically they're just eliminating all sense of AI or bots or anything like that, and it's all player driven. The entire game is going to be basically player driven, so that's pretty cool. But obviously there's a lot of unknowns about this game. I mean, it's very easy for people to make a trailer and be like, hey, this is our game, but then in reality that's not actually how their game is going to be. And I think a lot of us are kind of gun shy, but I don't want you guys to ever get to the point where you're just you totally give up on these kind of games, because I feel like they're learning, and I feel like they can perfect it, and they can get us a game that we really want like this out there. I do believe that somebody can do that, and I probably want a game like this more than I do any type of game out there. I've always wanted a sort of almost like life, like your real life, but you're in a game, so you can build anything you want to do, but just expanding it. So sort of like Minecraft, but in a super realistic sort of mode, but also, being able to go to different planets just adds this another level to that. So it would be cool to see it get to a very technical point where it's, you can build kitchens and you got to feed yourself and build all these on land vehicles, and I love the thought of that. I always thought of that as a kid, it would be cool to have a game where you could do anything in it. So it's just like real life, but it's in a video game. I feel like that's what we're all waiting on. You know what I mean? Whereas these space games, they are a little more futuristic, but it's still real in a sense. It's not just totally unreal and out there. And even having alien creatures, I mean, we don't really know if that's out there in real life, so having it in a game is not technically unrealistic, if that makes any sense at all. But this big thing right here, that was, you can actually build things like that out in space. So, but what I was trying to get at is, I think that's what we're all really looking for in these sort of building, open world survival type games, is basically something that's like real life, but in a video game. Because it seems like with a lot of those games like that out there, it's like they're missing certain elements. You know, like you'll have 7 Days to Die, which has one of the best like building elements, and you get this cool, like, I just built my house, I built a campfire, and this feels like real life right now. But what I feel like 7 Days to Die is sort of missing is like the exploration. There's not a whole lot of it in 7 Days to Die, and it gets a little bit repetitive pretty quick. And then you'll have games like No Man's Sky, which are it's a lot more about actual discovery and just seeing these brand new things, which is how real life is. But there's not a whole lot of building aspects and like actual survival aspects that make you really immersed in the game in that sense. So I feel like they just need to bring all those cores together. And now that Dual Universe kind of brought me on the idea of having all these crazy, like, single shard universe, have however many thousands of people in one universe, online multiplayer, PvP, all that comes together, and that's the game I want. I feel like Dual Universe has the sort of groundwork. If they could just like add creatures and add a bunch of planets and some other little stuff in there, I feel like they could pull it off. But I don't know. It's going to be cool. Be sure to check this game out. You can go to their website, Dual Universe, and you can do the crowdfunding thing for it. I definitely recommend doing that because it is a really cool game, and I feel like it'll be fun, man. And it's going to be a subscription-based game once it comes out, but you can basically like play the game and get in-game currency and buy subscription time in-game with the in-game currency, or you can sell subscription time in-game. You know what I'm saying? So you can kind of pay to win in a sense, but it also allows people that don't want to pay for a subscription to be able to play the game just by getting in-game currency. So you see what I'm saying there? So it's like it's not really pay to win per se. I mean, it kind of is in that sense, but I like that. I really do. I like the fact that you wouldn't have to, pay a subscription if you weren't able to, because any subscription-based game, they've got to be rock solid to survive. I mean, they really do. They've got to be like hardcore. So, but yeah, there's so many things to this game. I didn't really go over everything, but I just wanted to kind of shout this game out and let you guys know if you're into this kind of thing. So yeah, man, just be sure and check it out. I'm going to try to do some more videos like this where I go through some of these different indie type games out there. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.